Welcome to our 20th episode of the Broken Pictures podcast / YouTube show, where we discuss the top three, almost said five, top three things that you might have missed in pop culture this week. There could potentially be spoilers for your favorite TV shows, movies, comics, and or video games. You've been warned. This is the FOMO Show. Hey guys, this is Dylan.
This is Quin.
And once again, we'd like to say thanks for joining us by YouTube or podcast. And hello to all our new watchers and or listeners in the States and internationally. And a special thank you to those who are returning. We honor your brave endeavor. And if you want to keep the conversation going or support the show, you can, of course, comment below. But you can also find all that information in the episode notes and or the website at www.broken.picturesno.com. And also, don't forget, you can leave us voice messages and or questions that we can play on the show. You can do that by going to www.anchor.fm/thefomo show to talk to us. So, YouTube viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
If you want to be notified if we post new videos. Or when we post new videos, because we will eventually. Might be a while, but so podcast listeners, if you would please like and give us 5 stars in your podcast app, it'll help others find us. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Just a little special note: if you notice somebody is missing, Lydia's back at work. Yeah,
I had read that and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's something to do with them giving her a paycheck and we don't, whatever, stupid reasons. Just bills. So let me not forget the spoiler alert. We will be getting spoilery, just so you know. If we get into something that you're not really wanting to hear, go ahead and pay attention to the words over our heads and just fast forward a little bit. And when those change, you can jump back in. What did you guys read, play, watch, listen to this week? What are you into? Let us know in the comments below, and if it's worth watching, or should we miss it or don't miss it? Because this is the FOMO show. We've got fear of missing out. We want to know what you're into. So, Quinn, what were you into this week?
I watched Medea's family funeral.
What?
Medea's family funeral.
Oh.
Watched that. Maybe laughed 6 times.
Through the whole movie?
Upset each time that I laugh, but it's all right, I guess. What else did I watch?
Is that a miss it or don't miss it?
If you like Medea movies, go ahead, watch it. If you like, you can miss it. It's fine.
I gotta admit, I've never seen a Medea movie.
That's totally okay. It's all right. Same movie, same plot line.
I love Tyler Perry, but I mean, who doesn't? But still.
Yeah. What else did I watch? I found out Designated Survivor got picked up by Netflix, and it's on Netflix, and I watched that, and then I was like, all right. They're just dropping F-bombs now. This is great.
Wow. I was like, screw you, ABC. We're on Netflix.
Season 3 is TVMA. It is...
Wow.
I've been seeing 2 buttholes and a whole sex scene, so it's all right.
I was not ready. I wasn't ready.
It's all right. Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, if you like the show while it was on TV, don't miss it because it's just the same show. Just now they don't have to hold back.
Wow. Wow, Kiefer. Wow. Okay. Right. How do you move on from that? Let's see. We watched for our pizza movie night. What did we watch? I can't even remember. I'll post it. I'll ping it below. I'm so blank right now. I'm excited that I finally got Lydia to watch John Wick with me. I've been at it for years, of course. I've been trying to get my brother to watch it too, but he's just like, I don't know. He doesn't want to watch movies unless he wants to watch them. So like, yeah, I tried to get him to go do like a family movie thing with us to go see Into the Spider-Verse, and he was like, call me when you go watch a grown-up movie.
When you go watch a grown-up.
Yeah.
Peter Parker literally got smashed to death.
Unless it's a sporting event, he's like skeptical. So.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because like we were just like super sci-fi and everything. We watched a lot of TV in our house growing up.
Huh.
But anyways, let's see. Did I watch anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it.
That's it?
We did do a Kung Fu Panda marathon. Yeah. And apparently, yeah, obviously don't miss that. Don't miss John Wick.
Don't.
Oh, that's what we did for Pizza Movie Night. We did Kung Fu Panda 1 in 3D. Of course. The second one I don't have, so we luckily it was on DirecTV and I was just got to record it. Okay. And the second one I liked. Like the first one, of course, is a classic. The second one is really is darker, and I think it's got a better story.
It does.
And the third one is like, what?
The third one is like, all right, now we're just gonna get weird with you.
Yeah, the whole Chi universe, and
that was really fun. I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a spectacle. It was fun to watch for sure. But yeah, I think it's the worst of the three, if it's even considered bad at all. I still say don't miss it. It's still a decent movie.
Yeah.
As far as kids movies go, but now I don't know where they have to go now because now Poe is the master. So, I mean, those
who cannot do teach, or something. I don't know. He's
a chi master now, so his story is full circle. Dragon Warrior. So yeah, what are you guys into? Let us know. That leads to you.
Oh yeah, because now
warm up your instrument.
It's time for the #1 movie of the week, and it is Men in Black International.
Which okay, so Men in Black International is like the fourth last movie in a long line of movies this summer.
Yeah, it's the in the summer. I was like, it's the fourth Men in Black.
It's the fourth Men in Black, but in the long line of movies this summer that we've said has been #1, this is like the next in line of rotten #1 movies.
Yeah,
because it's 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and I don't even understand. Like when the trailer first came out, I was like, international. I thought they were already like worldwide, but
the way, like if you go back and watch, I watched, what was it, Men in Black 2, when the director at the time, like he put Michael Jackson on the screen. Michael Jackson was in Antarctica and he was like dealing with penguins who were actually aliens. I was like, well, that's pretty international. Like looking back on it now, that name's weird. They just call Men in Black 4.
I guess the idea is that it's in London or wherever. It's overseas instead of New York, the New York office. So maybe that's. I mean, they could have just called it Men in Black London. I guess I don't know. But I guess they would go to the Sahara and all over the place. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like a natural leap for a space comedy to confine itself to the world. Yeah. Anyway. So, with that, we're gonna move on. All right, so the top 3 this week. Let's get into #1.
Yeah. 2000
Collective sigh.
2019 summer lineup for movies is that. People are a lot, not even like one or two people. A good chunk of people are saying this is the worst summer lineup for movies in a while, a long while.
Yeah, even though I want to say like Endgame kind of kicked it off, and Endgame was hella entertaining, but plot wise still had some issues that I'm not like and like some articles are starting to come out and it's like, okay, let's admit it, Endgame was not that good.
Endgame was fun, but them trying to fix the problem that Infinity War caused, which caused them to have several more problems that no one's addressing, but they're going to feel repercussions of.
Yeah, and there's radio silence from Marvel right now, so.
Yeah. Until D23, whenever that is. I think it's in August. Is it in August?
I thought it was in July. It might be August. I don't know. Oh. We'll get into that later.
But yeah, so there have been several movies that have been rotten. They were out this summer. Most recently, we just said Men in Black, but Shaft that came. When did Shaft come out?
Last week.
35% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Men in Black, just in case you missed it, 25% Rotten Tomatoes.
Aladdin 57. Rocket Man 89. Yay, Rocket Man.
Yeah, and that one seemed to kind of fly under the radar, I guess, because it was an R-rated story.
R-rated story, and Elton John told them literally not to hold back. He said, yeah, I'm not proud that I did it, but I did a lot of drugs and sex when I was in my career, so you better put it in the movie. Yeah,
there's like a headline floating around that says there's a little net floating around as well. Oh. Excuse me. But like them saying, hey, you should go for PG-13 to reach more people. And he was like, I didn't live a PG-13 life, dude. Yeah. He didn't say dude, I don't think, but...
Dude. Might. It's Elton John. You never know. Godzilla King of Monsters, which that one kind of upset me that people were kind of downing it because it's supposed to be a monster movie, but it's 40% on Rotten Tomatoes and kind of like halfway 6.6 out of 10 in other places.
A lot of rotten movies.
Yeah, and some of them I can kind of understand, and some of them I don't, for the simple fact that Godzilla, people's main issue with that is like there's not enough human drama, but it's a monster movie.
I'm on the fence about it because I mean, if you watch King Kong, if you watch the first Godzilla, there was some decent human story in there, so maybe that kind of built up the expectation.
What else is there? Secret Life of Pets and Aladdin.
Dark Phoenix.
We'll get to that because that's a whole nother
thing. Okay.
That's a whole nother
My bad.
But like Aladdin and Secret Life of Pets, I consider Aladdin a kids movie, even though definitely adults are gonna go see it. Shay wants to go see it, but they should get a little more leeway because they're designed to keep your children entertained.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be some complicated, dark story of human emotion.
They're trying to win an Oscar, but they're not trying to win an Oscar. It's just a movie for entertainment.
Yeah,
purposes.
I mean, you can venture into complicated things. I mean, think Toy Story. Was very, very real. Inside Out had very real issues that it dealt with in a way a child could understand. I think that is where kids movies really shine, is where they take something that's complicated and they simplify it.
Yeah. But still.
In a way that isn't like oversimplified, like, hey.
Yeah. And they do a good job of that in a lot of movies, but sometimes you can't, not everything's gonna be a golden egg. Right. Sometimes,
like the original Aladdin.
Yeah.
Not only because of the genie character, but because you took something like homelessness and being an outcast and made it a compassionate, empathetic story,
My goodness. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember watching that and not once going, screw Aladdin, he's a thief. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want Aladdin to get Aladdin. Want that one guy with the big old gout to be like, get Aladdin. I didn't want him to get him. So yeah. Mm-hmm. But now with the last little bit of time for this segment, let's just delve into Dark Phoenix. Like it's definitely the worst movie of the summer. It's the worst X-Men movie ever made.
Even worse than Last Stand, which was
hard to do.
And Age of Apocalypse. Like, I want to say it's like Last Stand, Age of Apocalypse. Now it's Dark Phoenix.
On the floor.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. Like, I've seen... For legal reasons, I can.
He's heard things.
I've heard things. Yeah, but so I read one article that it did the exact same mistakes times 2 that Last Stand did.
Really?
But the director that did this, was it also the same director that did Last Stand?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Good. Because someone told me that, and I was like, no, I don't think it's right, but I hope it's not
Brett
right.
Ratner did Last Stand.
Okay.
Yeah, but he also did...
First Class, didn't he?
No. He didn't do First Class. He did... what was the Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan movies?
Rush Hour?
Rush Hour. He did the Rush Hour movies.
Okay. Well, he's good with buddy cops. It's not superhero movies.
Mm-hmm. Superhero movies should be a little more complicated. Which is, I guess, I don't know. It's not just like straight up comedy, you know, with silliness and all, you know, slapstick and all that.
It gets dark at times, but Dark Phoenix,
especially a story like Dark Phoenix,
it seemed like it knew what it wanted to be, but it ended up being the exact same thing as Last Stand, just new generation. It was like, it's still gonna be the last one. We're gonna go out with a bang, but they went out with a whimper. No one's really ever said, I don't think anyone's saying like the actors were bad or anything. I think it was.
I've heard that Sophie Turner was excellent. She pulled her weight, and of course Michael Fassbender, because he doesn't show up unless he's going all out.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Lawrence was the one that just like did not want to be there and phoned it in.
But she died like really early in the movie. So I mean, you
can even tell from her makeup job that she was just like, I ain't putting all that on.
I'm here, shoot my scenes, and I'm out.
Yeah.
So, but 2019 will go down in history as, I'm sorry, there's no such thing as blockbuster summer this summer.
Yeah, and it's only June, so...
We'll still have Spider-Man. Spider-Man will be the saving grace for the summer. Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. They could...
And it's the closing of Phase 3 for the Marvel Universe, so MCU. So hopefully it'll do the job if Sony hasn't screwed the pooch.
We'll see.
Yeah. So... I mean, I do respect the director of Dark Phoenix for coming out and say, "Hey, that's on me."
Oh,
so
yes.
And so I mean, that's worth it's okay, buddy.
It's okay.
Everybody misses sometimes, you know.
You tried. You tried.
Even though like the hype going into this one was like, "Hey, we're gonna do Dark Phoenix right," and then like I remember when the first trailer came out and it obviously showed Mystique being killed, everybody's like, what? That's the same trope as Last Stand. And he was like, you know what? I was writing that and then I didn't realize it. And later on I was like, oh well. That should have been a red flag.
And then they had reshoots and everything. And whenever a movie has reshoots, you just start to worry. So
yeah, even though not all reshoots are bad.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, New Mutants has undergone a lot of reshoots, but I had an inside source from a guy that worked on the set, was pretty high up on the crew, and he said that the director going in wanted to do an R-rated, And Fox was like, no, we're not ready for that. We don't do that yet, or not yet. But anyway, we don't do that. And then Deadpool and Logan blew it out the box, and they were like, and he'd already shot most of the movie, if not all of it, and it was PG-13. But then they came back and was like, hey, you know what? Let's do this one R-rated because it's got R-rated potential. And he's like, thank you. And so now it's back. Now they're, I don't know if they're in the middle of reshooting or what's going on with that, but they're making it R-rated and amping up the drama and the tension and the horror.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. So,
I mean, I'm excited because he's a visionary director, and this is something that he is passionate about. So that to me is a good sign, even though it's been, crazy reshoots and this and that. I think it's going to be one of those where, everybody's kind of like, oh, reshoots, and not even care because it's not connected to the MCU, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to end up being one of those gems that come out and fly under the radar and become like a sleeper hit type thing. I wish that they would tie it into the MCU, or I don't know if they could, do that retroactively or not, because apparently there's no characters from the Fox Marvel verse in it. They were originally supposed to have like Professor X show up and just kind of like, be the overarching, vision, or not vision, but father of, the X-Force or whatever. But or New Mutants rather. What am I even saying? For the New Mutants, kind of like kicking the team off or whatever, and just kind of like a little cameo. But from what I understand, James McAvoy wasn't able to make the schedule, so he's not in it. So that might be a blessing in disguise if there's no hard connection to what's come before. They might be able to
what comes after.
Yeah, retroactively pull it in, which would be awesome, especially if they were to do like some darker stuff on Hulu and and do it on Hulu and just kind of like, wrap it in through that or something.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Even though that would be super awesome to have like the Marvel Knights type thing where they go dark, and have your R-rated, because they've already said that Deadpool can stay R-rated. And they that kicks off like a line of adult oriented Marvel Universe movies that are loosely not necessarily loosely, but of course when Deadpool shows up with the X-Men or whatever, he'll be pulled back or whatever, but when he's out on his own, he's on his own. He's
on his own. Which would be good. And then, with like Brightburn coming out, and I feel like Brightburn did all right. Mm-hmm. So they could most definitely just make it an R-rated movie and it'd be really good. Or it could just be a one-shot, because I feel like as time goes on, the MCU will still exist, but like just how DC's doing a whole bunch of one-shot stuff for theirs, and then if it does really well to tie it in later, Marvel will probably follow suit. Because they'll have like so many ideas and so many people like want to come in and do movies. They would be dumb not to be like, here, try this out for size.
Yeah, and eventually it's going to be so big. I mean, like they already said that they're not going to do as big as an undertaking as they did with the Infinity War movies, because it was just so hard to do with everybody's schedules and everything, and so there's well, we can get into that later. So,
All right. So
that's it for number one.
Now, number two.
Dos.
The MTV, what was it? Movie and
TV Awards.
Bah. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I know.
Okay.
MTV Awards are more for... Yeah, teenagers. I want to say like pop culture stuff, which is what we do anyways. But it's not as
prevalent,
respected as like the Oscars or the Golden Globes or things like that. They're through the Academy, even though everybody knows that you buy your way into the Oscars still.
Yeah.
But MTV, it's more, that, oh, well, this person was obviously bought that nomination, or put that nomination, that company put that nomination forward because they wanted that person in the lexicon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
And MTV is selling spots,
Which, it's fine. Like, okay, you can make your money somehow.
I mean, it's MTV. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, at one point, the CEO of MTV was like, "We don't shoot for the 14-year-olds. We own the 14-year-olds." So,
Okay.
and at one point, they played music too. So I mean, whatever.
Boy, what happened to that? You know what comes on MTV at 2:00 in the morning now? Jersey Shore. Like that's it. Or Ridiculousness. They play Ridiculousness all the time, and I watch it.
Which is funny because it's like nothing means anything anymore. Like True TV doesn't play reality TV shows, like you would think.
They do magic shows. And
TLC, the Learning Channel, doesn't play educational stuff anymore.
No. Say yes to the dress.
Oh, that's educational. Brides to be.
That's my 10th grade life.
Yeah.
So some of the winners for Best Kiss, I didn't know that was a thing, were the stars for To All the Boys Who Love I've Loved Before.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that. I know it's
Shay watched it 3 times.
Really? I know it's out there. Like my daughter's trying to watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's in it yet, so because I'm not interested in it.
I don't think it's anything too bad. I mean, she hasn't said anything bad.
Is it a Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's PG-13, I think. The best fight went to Captain Marvel for Brie Larson.
And she brought her stunt coordinators, or not coordinators, but her stunt actors up on the stage with her to accept the award. So that was pretty awesome.
Yay. No one does that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Best villain went to Josh Brolin for Thanos, of course, because I can't name any other villains, honestly.
Not as iconic right now, for sure.
Nope. What else? Most frightened performance went to Sandra Bullock for Bird Box. So, congratulations.
Not frightening performance.
Nope, frightened.
Frightened. Even though if you saw Bird Box, you might say.
She was ready to let that little girl die. Oh, man. All right, Bird Box.
Not her best acting.
Best comedic performance goes to Daniel Levy for Schitt's Creek.
Yep. That's something everybody's watching. It's not just like huge, and it was kind of an upset. Everybody didn't see it coming.
It's gonna become a cult classic, I'm sure.
For sure, and it's several seasons in right now too.
So, know what I'm about to watch?
Yeah,
probably, maybe. Best hero, it goes to Robert Downey Jr. Because
let's just.
I am Iron Man.
Rip.
Oh, we love you 3000. And that's the Iron Man 3 suit. Oh, it's 3s everywhere. There's only 2 of us.
Dang it, Lydia. You ruined the show. Best
movie was Endgame, which I feel, what were the other ones? Black Klansman, Spider-Man to the Spy-Verse, Us, and To All the Boys Who I've Loved. I've loved before. I keep messing up the title. Yeah. So Endgame was gonna win, I'm sure.
Obviously. It's like on the cusp of beating Avatar right now.
Is it?
So close. This is the first week that it actually fell out of the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Since it came out.
That's right, because it's not... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Neat. Finally. The MTV Generation Award went to Dwayne Johnson because they could smell what he was cooking. So, well, I don't have any other jokes for that.
Because he's the male actor of our generation.
I guess.
Man, so talented. I'm just teasing. I love The Rock.
The Rock's cool.
Yeah.
Don't.
I think Dave Bautista came out and was like, shots fired, and was like, The Rock's not a good actor. It's like, which is funny because like, I remember back in the day, it was like wrestlers were not taken seriously in acting. Like if you saw, like Hulk Hogan was like the only person on a consistent basis, and his stuff was still such cheeseball that it was action comedy type stuff.
Have y'all seen Rocky 3?
Basically him.
Yes.
Only a different persona. And then of course Andre the Giant is lovable in Princess Bride. But now we've got John Cena, we've got The Rock, we've got Roman Reigns is in it now, Batista, Ronda Rousey.
Batista, I feel like is probably the best wrestling actor.
Yeah,
like
as far as like quality performances, like he's really stepped up his game. He's good. John Cena, I don't know what's going on with John Cena. Like he's a game show host now.
John Cena
he's like withering away. He's looking more and more like Ernest every day.
Yeah.
In the face.
He's just like, I'm not gonna wrestle anymore. So like last time I saw him, he looked like he lost a little bit of muscle tone. Like you can tell he's still working out, but he's just not hitting it as hard as he needs to anymore.
He's not as sculpted as he used to be.
Yeah.
His focus is different. But if you've seen Trainwreck, that dude was funny in that movie. Like wow. I was not expecting that was from him. That was hilarious.
And Cockblockers. Cockblockers was funny.
I haven't seen that one yet. Like he's a funny dude.
He is.
For sure.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, not so much. But it's G.I. Joe. He's going to be in Fast and Furious. If you saw that last week. Anyways.
The best music performance, Shallow from A Star Is Born.
Sha-la-la-la-lo.
Best... That's a whole nother subject. Best TV performance, Elizabeth Moss for Handmaid's Tale. I'm flying through these now. Trailblazer Award goes to Jada Pinkett Smith.
If you know what she's trailblazing, let us know below. Because I know she's Jada Pinkett Smith, and that is just her being her. She's formidable.
Great.
But I mean, what I want to know, like, what is she doing out in the world right now that nominates her for the? No, I'm not trying to be skeptical. I honestly want to know what she's up to.
I don't know either. Sorry, microphone.
Other than maybe for just being a strong black woman and being at the forefront of entertainment or something. I don't know.
That might be it. I don't know. We'll see. Or a family dynasty. We'll get back to it. Best performance in a movie went to Lady. I guess this is female performance. Yeah, This is all ladies. Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born.
I have not seen that yet. I heard it was good. Then I've heard it wasn't good. I don't know.
Well,
she sure made Bradley Cooper look good.
Once again,
if you've heard that
on
song,
that whole other subject. Bradley Cooper's not with his wife no more.
Oh no, they weren't married, but
they weren't married. I was just a girlfriend. Oh,
yeah, 4 years. 4 years they were together.
Oh, I feel better.
Supposedly the Lady Gaga thing had something to do with it, but indirectly.
But indirectly.
Yeah, she wasn't.
There's a
lot of chemistry there, and even if they never did anything, that's still like, what's going on right there? You know, I don't know.
A lot of chemistry is an understatement. Their faces were like this.
That's true. And all she could talk about is how vulnerable, how much she trusted him. And...
Not words you want to hear a woman to say when you're the girlfriend.
True.
Best show, Game of Thrones.
Ba-na-na-na-na.
Your competition wasn't like...
Not this season, Game of Thrones. Maybe just like, hey, we're throwing you a bone because you're done now. And you used to be awesome.
Pretty much. Best real life hero goes to Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yes.
Gator. I said Ruth Gator Ginsburg. That's what she does in her spare time.
I want to see that her
biopic.
Yeah, on CNN. I haven't seen it
yet. Best host goes to Nick Cannon or Sub-Zero and Some Might Know Him.
Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
If you saw what he was wearing to the award show.
Best documentary, Surviving R. Kelly.
And the Michael Jackson one didn't even make the list, which is
strange.
Yeah,
I think
MTV. I guess nobody paid enough for it. I guess the MTV Awards show has a short memory for the year.
Make sure that one doesn't exist.
It literally paved the way for the R. Kelly one. So
it did. This one upsets me. Best reality royalty. Freaking hate that I'm about to read this. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Whatever.
How is this even a thing?
Yeah, and the last one, equally as much hate. It's the one before. Most memeable moment, Colton Underwood for The Bachelor. I looked up the meme, still didn't get it, so I'm sorry. But memeable moment.
No, apparently not. Sorry.
Okay. But that is pretty much it for number 2. Some of these...
But stranger things have happened.
In New York.
Wow. Way to play into it. Most memeable moment right here.
All right. Now, I anything else on this one? Nope. All right.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Same.
All right. This one's going to be fun. Number 3, upcoming in the MCU. Bum bum bum.
I don't know.
So there's obviously, like, I saw one headline that said up to 10 different streams, timelines created by Endgame. I had some issues with Endgame that I still have not yet resolved. I haven't seen it a second time to be able to just process, I guess, other than just through memory. But it was a busy month with getting married and traveling internationally and everything. So I don't know. I know it was super entertaining. I'll give it that much. But I've seen reports saying that they're going to... And right now, so we're getting radio silence officially from Marvel right now, from Marvel Entertainment, the MCU, from Kevin Feige. They said they're going to talk about Phase 4 when Phase 3 is ended. And it doesn't technically end until after Spider-Man. So we're getting San Diego Comic-Con and D23, which is Disney's convention. So
big enough for one now.
Yeah, because they've roped in every other pop culture thing. So they could be possibly splitting info between them, just like surface level at one and really dropping the bomb at the other. I would assume they're holding, because they're Disney, and who wouldn't hold on to the really juicy bits for their own con to bring attention to that. Because it just makes sense. I mean, that's not necessarily saying that they're a big bad or anything, but anybody would do that. But there's been a lot of leaks and speculation. So far, there have been, of course, Kevin Feige said we won't see the X-Men or Fantastic Four in the MCU for at least 5 years, because the way they've done it going forward is they have a hard plan 5 years out and a loose plan 10 years out. So they're saying, it doesn't fit into the 5-year plan unless they were to DC it and just put the cart before the horse and just make it fit because they can, because that's what the fans want or whatever. Even though Endgame was the most fan servicey movie I've ever seen, and I loved every minute of it. That's how you do fan service right. But
I loved all but 2 things, but that's a whole nother thing.
What did you love?
Falcon.
Oh yeah.
And Captain America. Getting old. That was about it.
Yeah. So like some of the writers have come out with this, and then like so there. I mean, there's a lot of swirling speculation going on. Like Paul Rudd has said that he wants fans to rally for an Ant-Man 3. So there's speculation that Marvel is shelving the Ant-Man movies after Ant-Man and the Wasp, and there won't be a third one in Phase 4.
Saw something about that, but I didn't click on it to read it, and I was trying to figure out like why would they do that?
I don't know. So that they can go different directions, and supposedly they're not going to do as big an event. They're still going to do Avengers movies. There's speculation that they're working on Avengers 5 already, which makes sense if they're planning out, and because by now they're ending Phase 3. Phase 4 should be be done, should be planned out, mapped out, ready to go, without tweaks here and there, whatever. Excuse me. But but they're talking having like an Earthbound story and a Spacebound story, and just kind of like and not bringing them back around, because you know how we were all excited for when the Avengers meet the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's going to be a huge deal. Apparently it was too huge, and it was too big of that's what she said, too big of an undertaking, and wore everybody out. And schedules, it was a colossal deal. I mean, just getting a single movie made by itself, no connection, original movie, whatever, is a huge miracle and a huge undertaking in itself, because there's so many moving parts, and the money and getting schedules and all this stuff. So you can imagine like 10 years of connected movies is a huge deal. But then you're going to pull in the biggest stars in Hollywood and have them all there at once. That's not the Oscars, not something that's scheduled every single year, and and have them all there, not just for one night, but for a scheduled shootings and all this kind of for stunts, and then call them back for ADR and all this other stuff. So, and then talk about press junkets. I mean, it's a big deal. So they're going to do the Avengers, but they're not necessarily going to make them connect with the Spacebound story, which is why they've got Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy going this way, and we're not really sure what's going on with the Earthbound story right now, outside of Spider-Man. But Spider-Man technically is still Phase 3.
Trying to but they're gonna have to introduce more characters, obviously, for the Earthbound story, because everybody that's there now, because for them to do the new Avengers, Spider-Man is basically the leader of the new Avengers, but they're missing a good chunk of moving parts for that. Like the new Avengers, as I know them, is Spider-Man, War Machine, Wolverine, Thing, Luke Cage. I'm missing 2 others. But really, the last 3 that I named aren't even there. Like Luke Cage, he was on Netflix, but now he's...
Yeah, and all that's tied up still in legalities. Yeah. So they can't do anything with that for 2 years. I can't have him on screen.
That's another one.
But even though they've said, okay, we can't officially do anything until the Fox merger was complete, there's still room. Like they have what they call these backyard barbecue meetings or something like that, where basically they'll have all the team come out to a cabin, and they'll just hang out and loosely draw up what it'll look like on the whiteboard, and kind of finalize some ideas unofficially. That they did that, and so they knew as soon as they got the rights, they could get the ball rolling. Because what company in their right mind wouldn't have a plan going forward as when they get that in their
one that doesn't really
when they get possession of that. So obviously they've got a plan. There's some casting rumors going around. Keanu Reeves is in the mix for potentially for Doctor Doom or Namor. Even though Kevin Feige said that he wants to do Namor. And there's some talk of Doctor Doom. The director of the TV show Legion has had a Doctor Doom story in his back pocket for years now, and has supposedly spoken to Kevin Feige about it. The director of Black Panther wanted to do Doctor Doom, has been wanting to do Doctor Doom because he's a big player in the Black Panther universe as well.
Battle of the Kingdoms and all that.
Mm-hmm. And so is Namor.
Yeah.
Right? So they're talking about potentially Keanu Reeves for that, but potentially these are all rumors and speculation. It's being said that Keanu is being looked at for these two roles, but what he really wants is Wolverine.
Don't.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah, because I mean, my thing is right now Hugh Jackman is 50 years old. Keanu Reeves is 51.
What
that in itself.
of life has he been drinking?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, of course he can do all the action chops and stuff, but when you're talking about like having a sculpted body like Hugh Jackman did for 20 years, like that's why he said he was moving on. He's like, I'm getting too old for this, you know?
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me Keanu Reeves, a year older, who hasn't been known for having just like sculpted body. I mean, he's fit, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not Hugh Jackman fit.
Hugh Jackman was doing all sorts of stuff to make sure he was staying.
Yeah, dude got tired of eating chicken. Like nothing but. So, I mean, just that regimen is insane. And you're talking about putting that on a 51-year-old man. If he goes 10 years, he'll be 61. If he goes 20 years, 71 years old.
Let's not.
Look at Arnold. Look at Sly. I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, it doesn't age well on you, you know.
Yeah.
And you're playing a character that doesn't age.
It's hard.
Yeah, so it just doesn't fit logistically, even though it would be cool, and I love Keanu and everything, and he's having the Keanu-sance right now. So another person who has spoken interest in playing Wolverine is Jason Momoa, who is obviously Aquaman and has an Aquaman sequel coming out. He is Aquaman in the DC universe. And he didn't just come out and say, "Hey, I want to play this." He was asked in an interview, if you could play anybody in the MCU, who would you play? And he said, "Well, I've always loved Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman, what he did with it." So it wasn't like him throwing his hat in the ring type thing.
So it's like he's like, I said it, and y'all just running with it.
Exactly. So I mean, and even though Hugh Jackman was too tall to play Wolverine, because Wolverine is like barely 5 foot, you know, ish.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman is like well over 6 foot. It's like 6'2" or 3" or something like that. He nailed the essence of the role, and so everybody loved it. Everybody accepted it, ran with it. It was cool. But the clear fan favorite has been for a while now Scott Eastwood, who is legendary Clint Eastwood's son.
I'm down with that.
He's got the look. He's got the ruggedness. He's young. He's the right age. He could pull it off, and he's fit.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
And
so
can
I mean,
stay that way for years.
Yeah, and he's freaking just the legacy of the Eastwood legacy, like that fits Wolverine so well.
Have you seen that guy with a cigar in his mouth? I'm like, yeah, just dye that black. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm. The jeans, the cowboy hat, the Marlboro Man thing.
It's like Clint Eastwood cloned himself.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that was one of the inspirations for Wolverine's character, or you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, to cast him as Scott Eastwood I don't think you could cast more perfectly. I don't know if Scott Eastwood is interested or anything. Surely he's heard this. It's been going around for years. But that's my pick. One person, if you go to Boss Logic at Boss Logic on Instagram and Twitter, said that he's heard this stuff going around with Jason Momoa as Wolverine, and and he said, just like I commented, so I posted as on Instagram and stuff as broken pictures, but then I went back in my own profile and I commented and was like, hey, and I said all this, Keanu was a little too old, Jason Momoa was a little too big, but Scott Eastwood would be perfect. But I do think that Jason Momoa would be an awesome Sabretooth.
Yeah.
So Boss Logic went a step further. I don't know if he saw my post or anything like that. I follow him and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. But see, he said, I've heard these things. So he did a mock-up of Jason Momoa as
a
Sabretooth, and it is breathtaking. It is amazing. Like it is awesome. If you've seen photos of Jason Momoa in Frontier with the snowy bits, or snowy bit.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. With like a chain across his chest. Yeah, pretty amazing. That would be cool. And that would be something that he could play back and forth. He
ain't got to show up all the time
and be the number one guy in the movie.
Yeah.
So that would be perfect for him. Just everything seems right about that. Let's see. What do we got? There are rumors that Liam Hemsworth, of course, Chris Hemsworth's little brother, is being looked at for Johnny Storm, Human Torch. What's your thought on that?
I don't know.
Really?
I mean, I don't dislike him. But I feel like, I don't know. I really like. There's only
looks too much like Thor.
Yeah, like there's only been one Human Torch, and now he was Captain America. So I'm like,
and Chris Hemsworth or Evans, the other Chris, has said that he would play both. He's like, let's go, I'm down. And now that Cap is out,
it's like nothing stopping him. But he does look a lot like his brother, and if like they meet, that would be cool to see. But then they'll be like,
to make a comment.
Yeah, it's like, why do you look like me? I think my father didn't say. Tell me everything.
He's a good-looking man.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could. There are others out there. If they do, I'm pretty sure he'll do fine. I just recently watched. What movie did I watch? Isn't It Romantic?
Oh, that's what I was thinking. That's the one I was thinking.
Yeah.
He's funny. I think he could do all right. That's the only mark against him is that it's another Hemsworth that is basically a clone of himself, his brother. It's like a smaller,
slender
version.
Clone.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not as beefed up, but
Human Torch
just as talented.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they could find someone else.
Do you have a favorite in mind?
I don't. I would have to think about it for a minute, because
like who's like a Playboy type that's like he's got to be like dusty blonde or blonde.
It has to be blonde or pull off blonde if he did dye his hair, and then have to be funny. Yeah. I don't know. Ryan Reynolds is busy, so
and too old.
And too old. So I don't know, but I will next time come around. I'll think of somebody, or I'll just post it later today. That's probably what I'll do.
Let's see. I'm drawing a blank.
John Krasinski needs to be Mr. Fantastic.
That's the rumor, that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are being looked at for Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman. Rumors that could just be anybody saying, "Hey, I heard this."
It's rumors, but literally the last time Mr. Fantastic showed up on a Marvel comic, bro looked eerily similar to John Krasinski, and I'm like,
yeah, and like I don't think you could pick a better duo for that. And it makes sense that they would be looking into casting at this point. If you're talking 5 years out and you're getting all this nailed down, who's playing and the writing and which direction they want to go with the characters, it makes sense that they would be casting top build talent at this point. Mm-hmm. Even though there are rumors that like there's like an insider Twitter account saying that that Fantastic Four is not in any way being rushed, but there are rumors saying that Fantastic Four is being pushed out for a 2020 release or 2021 or something like that. That it's being rushed because they are the first family, and they could be the tie between the Earth story and the cosmic story.
If they ever did decide to do a super Avengers again.
Right. And they would be the perfect new Tony Stark, the anchor for Phase 4 moving forward. Especially if you've got somebody as strong in the role as John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, who just like together, especially, they just eat charisma and likability.
Quiet Place.
Yeah, and then you put Johnny Storm and rumors of Rock playing the Thing in,
pounding my freaking head against the
or
wall.
Namor is the other rumor. Rock really wants into the MCU from what is what the rumors say.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he want into the MCU? He's in everything else. But who is that big? Like, he could have played Thanos without CGI, maybe.
They just purpled him up and drew some lines on his chin.
Do you smell what I'm snapping?
He'll be up there talking to Tony Stark's like, wait, who are you? And he tries to talk like, it doesn't matter what your name is.
Let me put on my Infinity Gauntlet. Constantly fixing his cuff. So that ship has passed. Josh Brolin nailed that.
I think like with him already being Black Adam, I think that's part of the reason why I don't want him to be in the MCU, because there hasn't really been anybody that is going back and forth between the two. Like, usually, like when you're in there, you just kind of
at the same time, I guess. Yeah.
But and all those
yeah. I mean, there are some like smaller characters that are going back and forth, but nobody that's just one of the big characters.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. It's like, talking about The Rock. I don't know who he could play in the MCU. I wouldn't mind having him in the MCU. I mean, we've already got Stallone in the Guardians.
He could be a reflavored Sentry or Hyperion.
It'd have to be reflavored, yeah.
Because they're just blonde white guys. So.
Yeah. So let's see. There's also a rumor that they're rebooting the Inhumans into the MCU. And there was, back when the Inhumans was going to be a movie, Vin Diesel was rumored to play Black Bolt. Who does the voice of Groot, but doesn't have a physical
form.
Yeah. Which is basically just saying, I am Groot. And he does like 500 different ways for every movie and in every language, like himself. He's like, he goes all out. He didn't just phone it in. So, I mean, speaking of The Rock, you got to talk about Vin Diesel because, whatever. So there's that going on. And let's see. It seems like there was somebody else that was dealing with rumors. I can't think of it right now. But as if we've seen in comics being the precursors to the MCU, especially if they reboot something real quick, and Jonathan Hickman, his stories have been used, have been adapted for the MCU a lot. And right now, he has full creative control. I don't know about full creative control, but he's got control of the X-Men comics. They canceled every single X-Men storyline so that he could basically reboot the X-Men inside the comics with two storylines. You've got House of X and Powers of X. And it's supposed to be dealing with a rewriting or a new reveal of their origin story, which would be perfect for the MCU to introduce the X-Men without having to say, oh, well, they've been here all the time, we just didn't know it, or
Tony Snap did something else.
Parallel universes they popped in or something crazy. It just seems like kind of cheap. By the way, the Fantastic Four, just before I move on to the X-Men completely, The director of Ant-Man and the Wasp, this might be one of the reasons why they're shelving the Ant-Man and the Wasp. I want to say he's the one that took over Ant-Man, and then he did Ant-Man and the Wasp. He has expressed interest. He really wants to write and direct a Fantastic Four movie. And he's putting it out there. He's talking about it. He really wants to. He's got a vision of Fantastic Four in the 60s or 50s or 60s or something. And them kind of like being the Peggy Carter age, and kind of moving on from there. But I don't know how that would fit into current timeline. Yeah. So
you could do
you'd have to retcon a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you could do because S.H.I.E.L.D. would still know about them even if it was in the 80s. Because they found out about Captain Marvel. Nope, he's got to do present day. Sorry.
Yeah, and at this point, like, how do you do... They already knew about it and they didn't call him in with everything that was going on with Thanos.
He brought an actual army to Earth. Yeah. Twice. And you didn't think to call them. Okay, get out of here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to have to be something to where they've been around, but they haven't stepped up to that level yet. Kind of like we were talking about, like Reed Richards walking in and saying, hey, I'd like to buy the Avengers Mansion, and that being like them stepping into that role, where they've been there, but they haven't really been there. Yeah, they haven't stepped up to that yet. Yeah. Or nobody's known of them because they haven't been at that level or willing to go to that level. But now something has happened where they are answering the call. Like, that would make more sense. Yeah. Rather than, we knew about these Fantastic Four people. We just didn't think that they were going to be helpful. Even though Reed Richards is like, on level of Tony Stark or better, maybe.
He's smarter than Tony.
Smarter than Tony. So.
He's the smartest man in the Marvel Universe.
There you go. Yeah, why wouldn't they go? If Reed Richards was available, you got to tell me that they've been in the MCU. It's 10 years. They're in contact with S.H.I.E.L.D. They know what's going on. I know Cap has been in and out of the law or this or that. But how did Tony not even know about Reed Richards, or was he snapped? Or I mean, it gets complicated where it's like, I know somebody's smarter. Or Bruce Banner, how did Bruce not know about Reed Richards? Obviously he's very connected in the Scholastic world. So how would he not know about Reed Richards, who is the brain? So. It gets complicated, and it has to make sense. That's the MCU way. If they start cutting corners, like I feel like they did with Endgame, if they start doing that for the sake of entertainment value or fan service, a lot of people are going to be upset, including me. Now, if they did Endgame for the sake of plot device, now we got to fix it, and it's screwed up and we messed up, and that I could deal with that, because they're taking ownership of it.
We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, also, Zendaya has dyed her hair red. She's gone full Mary Jane. So get ready, Tiger.
Yeah, I think that's it. Good.
I think that's it. If if I forgot anything, I'll post it online. Maybe I'll make another video. I don't know. We'll see.
Worth a mention. I guess super quick. Iron Man said kryptonite. Because why not? Who knows? Maybe there's a second amalgamation coming.
Bum, bum, bum. We haven't had a good Marvel DC crossover event in a long time. Like, what, a decade?
Yeah, two decades.
2 decades. Wow. I know that was like a staple of the 80s, but they've had beef for a while. So if they're starting, and you said something about a mention of a Wolverine-esque character.
Yeah.
In DC.
In one of the Flash comics, Impulse that came back, and he was with a Canadian team, which was it was part of the X-Force, but he was describing all the characters, and like the leader of the X-Force at the time was Wolverine. So
Snick it.
Yeah.
You bunch of knuckleheads. I used to read it like that when I was a kid. It was endearing to find out that other kids read it the same way.
All right. That's it for me.
Cool. All right. So, once again, we'd like to say thanks for joining us by YouTube or podcast. And if you want to keep the conversation going and or support the show, you can, of course, comment below. But you can also find that info in the episode notes or the website at www.broken.pictures.com. And don't forget, you can leave us voice messages. There's Nat. You can leave us a voice message or questions that we can play on the show. Go to www.anchor.fm/the FOMO Show to talk to us. YouTube viewers, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, ding, for notifications of new videos. And podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app so people can find us. This is Dylan.
This is Liam's dad.
And we'll see you later. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Peace.